Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Empowering Industry Podcast. I'm your host, Charli Matthews, and I'm so excited to be here with special guest. I always love to meet somebody in industry who then is an author because, I one day in the future want to write a book as well. So, Steve, I'll just let you introduce yourself to the group. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, and I'm really happy to be able to spend some time with you this morning, Charli.
Yeah, wonderful. So tell them a little bit about kind of who you are and what you do.
Okay, I started in the mechanical contracting business long time ago when the Earth was still flat, and evolved over a few decades into a service provider in the maintenance and reliability business. Our primary focus was providing tools, software tools, to help manage maintenance and reliability in the heavy asset management world, which if you think about power generation, manufacturing, planes, trains, automobiles, those sort of large, expensive assets all have a tremendous amount of information that needs to be tracked about them. And that's what our service helped all our customers do, actually worldwide, for the last 25 years. I felt like the journey was interesting enough that 2 or 3 people might like to read about it. So I did write a book called Working Smart, and it's on Amazon.
Yeah, well, absolutely share those links and everything. So I want to stay with that journey for a while. So I think it's so great to be in an industry where all these plants and the equipment and everything, they are vital to life. We need these things across the land, so we'll just say, to keep us functioning as a society. And so I think a lot of times people don't understand how important the work is. So I like to stress that and kind of be a cheerleader for industry. But I also know how hard it is. And these are things that, it is what keeps you up at night to maintain all of these different assets, and to see how it has evolved and changed. And now there is technology out there that can help you. I'm just curious from your side, as you've been working in this industry, we know it's kind of slow to adapt different things, but what was the challenge that you think that this is solving?
I think the ability to make decisions faster and more accurately was the big thing. If you flash back 30 years, people were scheduling with whiteboards and index cards and markers in the back of their hands. And today we've got a lot of software tools, artificial intelligence, that helps us glean information much quicker and come to better decisions at a faster pace, which is empowering in terms of being competitive. It's a worldwide market now for everybody, and being adept, being able to pivot, and being able to solve a problem and move forward are paramount, and technology has really enabled a lot of that.
Yeah, you're talking about the quickness of it, and I know there's a lot of AI that has allowed us to do that. I think just different people have different views about that, but how have you seen people use the AI technology to really improve?
Well, I think it's in its infancy in a lot of ways. Some of it is just as simple as queries. Think Google on steroids in terms of asking a question instead of being brought back a link or a website. It'll write you a narrative. It'll give you the information in detail that you might need. Industry-wide, I'm a huge Tesla fan, and I think there's a misunderstanding about what autonomous driving is and is going to be. I think people think that one day you're going to wake up and your car is going to drive you to work and bring you home. And one day I believe that will happen, but incrementally what's going on right now is every week my car is updated, and every week my car is just a little smoother at that turn in the road and a little smoother backing into a parking place, and it will incrementally get better. And as you apply that to manufacturing techniques, it's the same thing. They're a little, robots and artificial intelligence are a little kludgy in the beginning, but they teach themselves and they become more human-like and smoother in their actions as time goes on. So it's not like it's going to happen with the flip of a switch. It's going to happen gradually, but it will also accelerate.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot about kind of the cobot. So if you think about robots interacting with humans, right? This is the best way, right? Where we don't want one to take over the other. But there's definitely that knowledge of sharing. Okay, what do we actually need this robot to do? How do we want to interact with it? I think is really important to look at, especially in a plant. How close can we get that, and what is it going to relieve our staff from doing?
I think primarily you're going to begin with the repetitive, non-rewarding tasks, some dangerous things. Certainly, you'd much rather have a robot in danger than a human being, but the repetitive things in terms of manufacturing, or the things that are maybe take a little bit more dexterity than a human might have.
Yeah,
we,
for
we
sure.
we don't all want to stand around and do the same thing 8 hours a day, every day. So those sort of things in concert with a human that's making sure that quality is ensured and the timeliness of delivery materials and things like that. But I think there's going to be a co-opetition for sure.
Yeah, I've seen how it can help manufacturing go faster, right? To produce more of a product because you've got it down. You know that it's really just about seats, right? People in seats, and if you can add robots in seats, then it will continue to grow as far as production. I've seen that firsthand, which was really actually really neat to see how fast they could do that production.
It is.
The other thing I wanted to just kind of talk a little bit more about your book, the title Working Smart. I consider myself a hardworking, but I've always heard, right, well, to try to work smarter. So is that the theme? Can you tell us a little bit more about why you titled it that?
Well, the evolution of my business was tied very much to, the evolution of technology. If you go back to the early 90s, we were using dial-up modems with their, offensive handshake screeching signals, and the speed of that transmission then, and what you could do with that versus the optical speed of the video that we're on today, not possible over dial-up 25 years ago. So as the speed and the latency have improved in the communications world, so has the software's capability, and so has our ability to build the machine that builds the machine. We don't make a tremendous amount of new things. We make a lot of the same things, but we make them faster and better because we are improving the machines that make those devices.
So we talked about you being an author, but you're also entrepreneur, founder of this company. Tell us about your company.
Projetech was founded in 1990. We started out as a technical project enablement organization trying to help companies improve either with their manufacturing or their facilities in general. Actually, early on, we did a lot of building work, temperature control and automation, lighting, those sort of things. But those were early automation tools that would work at low bandwidth. And as the speed of communication improved, so did our tools. And we ended up working with a product eventually bought by IBM that helps companies manage and maintain their assets at a high level. It's work management, it's inventory control, it's best practices,
Well, congratulations
the
on
list
that.
goes on. It was fun. Had a
Yeah.
good time.
Well, I think it's so important that we do. I mean, I love digital. I built my company on digital, and it did take 10 years from the time where I thought social media was important to when everybody was kind of on it and understood what they should be doing there as a company. And so I hate when it's that slow. So I'm always like encouraging people to be one of those early adopters, right? And to help move industry forward. And so that innovative mindset is definitely here. And then the other thing I think about when we start talking AI and different things is just, what does the future look like? What do you see that is using all of this software and different technologies, what the future of manufacturing could be?
A tremendous amount of automation. I believe that you're going to see humanoid robots in the next 5 or 10 years. I think you're going to see a tremendous amount of efficiencies and effectivities. When you start driving down the cost of products, the productivity, for everyone improves. I think that there's a lifestyle improvement for the entire human planet as a result of this efficiency going forward. I think that costs will come down and our dollars will go farther. And I think that there should be a renaissance of sorts, I believe.
I love that. And let me ask you, just how did you get into this industry? What made you want to be in maintenance and reliability or in technology at all?
I studied mechanical engineering, so I was hit it with a hammer kind of a guy most of my early career, and it just fascinated me when I first bought an Epson PC and a couple of 5 1/4 floppies to try to schedule filter changes for 4,000 pieces of equipment, just to try to get my head wrapped around something I couldn't do manually very efficiently. And the whole thought of being able to do that better, faster with a tool just intrigued me. So I've been fascinated by PCs and communications and technology ever since. I'm not a programmer. I was a horrible programmer. But I started finding people that could write code and learned how to leverage that in my business and for my customers' businesses as well.
I love that so much. Solving that problem for yourself that helps so many people. I think that is a common thread in what we should be seeking. Okay, well, I'm going to kind of just leave it with you. If you want to, anything else that you want our listeners to know about you or your business.
Well, before I forget, I want to congratulate you on what a great job you've done. You were an early adopter. You were a little bit ahead of the curve, and that's challenging. It's a little hard to see the light when you're that early, but obviously you're right in the midst of it now. You're doing a great job with that.
Thank you.
Lessons learned from what I've done over the years, and you may have already run into this, is I think sometimes the best ideas come from your customers. Many improvements of how we delivered our service and what services we provided were, the seed of that idea usually began with a client that said, well, I wish I could do something. I wish it would work this way. And you take that back and you scratch your head a little bit and say, well, why shouldn't it be that way? And that's what I've enjoyed, I think, the most is taking those seeds and letting them germinate a little bit and turn into something maybe a little bigger and better than anybody had thought at the time.
Absolutely. Definitely listening to the customer. They will tell you what they need. And anytime we can solve a problem for someone, and if it's one person, then multiple people are having that issue. They just haven't spoken up. So making sure you listen to your customers. Okay. So I have to do a little rapid fire with you because I'm super curious. And I want to know, what is your favorite book? Now, you can't say yours because I know that should be it, but do you have a favorite book out there?
A favorite book? When I was young, I read Catch-22 about 5 times. I thought Joseph Heller was a great author, and I love the irony of the story.
Awesome.
That'd probably be the first thing that come to mind.
Awesome. And then music, band, any favorite music?
Kind of jazz alternative stuff, probably Steely Dan.
Okay. And then best advice that you've ever received?
Don't try to do it all at once.
Oh, that's good.
Baby steps.
How many times have I done that? Okay. And then I'll let you kind of flip that. And what is some advice that you would give somebody else coming into our industry?
Gravitate in the directions of the things that you're curious about or that you're interested in. Sometimes people get stuck in situations that are not happy, and I think you need to try to seek out what makes you happy. Any industry's got a niche somewhere that will help you leverage what it is you're curious about or what you're talented with, and I think chasing those sort of things leads to a lifetime of learning and pleasure.
Yeah. And that's what we want. We want to have a good time while we're working and working smart. So y'all get this book. Steve, I will put all the links to that so people can see it. And y'all, if y'all have not already, like and subscribe to this podcast, share it. I think it's going to be a helpful one for our industry. We have a lot of maintenance and reliability folks in our audience. So definitely share this. And until next time, everybody, be empowering.
Roll Tide.
Oh, yeah. It's Roll Tide. Love that.